Before the 1990s gave us the alternative explosion, there was Sonic Youth, the dissonant, boundary-breaking heartbeat of the New York underground. At the center of that whirlwind was bassist, vocalist, and visual artist Kim Gordon. To her fans, Gordon was the ultimate avatar of cool, a figure who balanced high art sensibility with raw, distorted power. But as her 2015 memoir, Girl in a Band, reveals, being an icon isn't nearly as effortless as she made it look. Hey, it's Matt, and today on Loud Lit, we're talking about Sonic Youth, a band that played a massive role in bringing noisy, no-wave rock closer to the mainstream. This book spans the band's 3 decades and beyond, with personal stories from the life of Kim Gordon, one of the key players in this influential act. You know, I have to admit, Sonic Youth is one of those artists that, for a really long time, of course I knew of and acknowledged their influence on more popular acts like Nirvana, but for whatever reason, I hadn't gotten into them aside from a few songs here and there. It's kind of crazy, especially since, for a while, 2 members of the band lived near where I grew up in Western Massachusetts. I don't really know why I didn't dive into their catalog until recently while I was reading Girl in a Band, but I'm glad I did. Now, instead of just trusting other people who say Sonic Youth was a great band, I know it for myself, firsthand. Goo, Dirty, Rather Ripped, and obviously Daydream Nation. I really dig these albums. What the hell took me so long? Oh well, better late than never, right? If, like me, you're a bit late to the Sonic Youth train, now is a good time to catch up. While you're rocking out to their wild music, make sure you read Kim Gordon's memoir. If you need to order a copy, you can support this show along with independent booksellers by starting at bookshop.org. Click the link in the show notes. Now, let's talk about Girl in a Band. This book begins at the end, the final Sonic Youth concert. Gordon shares the story of her longtime band's uncomfortable final performance. She and bandmate Thurston Moore had been married for years when she learned that Moore had been cheating on her. That meant that not only was Gordon's marriage ending, but so was the music career she and her bandmates had been building since the 1980s. Despite the band's legendary status, there was no way Sonic Youth could carry on as a band. They pushed through the tension to honor their final tour dates in South America before parting ways. That is the story that sets the tone for Girl in a Band. As we jump back in time to her childhood, it soon becomes clear that Kim Gordon's life has been filled with obstacles that she's overcome in part through self-expression via visual art and music. A good deal of the book covers her complicated relationship with her older brother, who dealt with undiagnosed schizophrenia for much of his life. At times, Kim idolized her brother, but was often overshadowed by him. He was a charming and rebellious troublemaker, so she tried her best not to make waves. As she got older, though, she discovered her voice, literally and figuratively. Gordon was drawn to the freedom to create without boundaries, and that sense of liberation clearly influenced the artistic paths she would take with Sonic Youth. She perfectly sums up the so-called no-wave movement, of which Sonic Youth is considered a major player, saying, quote, "Punk rock felt tongue-in-cheek, screaming, 'We're playing at destroying corporate rock.' No-wave music was and is more like, 'No, we're really destroying rock.' Its sheer freedom and blazingness made me think, I can do that." And yeah, she really could. Gordon and her bandmates created wild, unconventional rock that resonated with young people looking for something different from the shiny pop music of the time. Their dissonant brand of rock broke boundaries and influenced bands that brought that approach to the mainstream in the early 90s. She gives insight into the band's thought process behind signing with major label Geffen. Keep in mind, this is happening at a time when selling out is a rock band's cardinal sin. They were cautious about the deal, knowing that independent artists like Husker Du and The Replacements had struggled with jumping to a major. Sonic Youth decided that they had been together long enough that if their major deal didn't work out, they could survive as a band. Besides, this was a chance to bring dissonant music to the mainstream. Although in the book, Gordon jokes that if Sonic Youth were in the mainstream hated us. As Sonic Youth's popularity grew, Gordon would learn about the downsides of being a woman in the male-dominated music industry. The book's title is a jab at music journalists who predictably asked her variations of the question, "What's it like to be a girl in a band?" While her male bandmates were asked about music, Gordon fielded tired questions about her identity as a woman in rock or as a touring mom. That's just one of the annoying double standards she had to deal with. Elsewhere, she talks about the threatening nature of women making dissonant music. As she puts it, art and wildness and pushing against the edges is a male thing. Craft and control and polish is for women. Culturally, we don't allow women to be as free as they would like because that is frightening. We either shun those women or deem them crazy. Along with tales from her time in Sonic Youth, Gordon discusses her many other artistic endeavors, musical side projects, art galleries, acting, her ex-girl streetwear clothing brand. She talks about reluctantly producing Hole's first album, and she does not hold back her opinions of Courtney Love. Like many books about early 90s rock, Kurt Cobain factors into the story. Gordon considered him a friend, and she shares her pain over his death, as well as the catharsis she felt performing Aneurysm at Nirvana's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction. Between Cobain's death and early struggles with family dynamics, Gordon shares a good deal of personal pain. A Girl in a Band's rawest moments detail her separation from Thurston Moore after 27 years of marriage. Now, for me, reading some of this felt a little too personal. Not gossipy, but almost invasive. But then again, how was she supposed to gloss over it? Sonic Youth's two most prominent members were husband and wife. So an explanation of their divorce was necessary to show fans why this long-running, influential band that surely had more creativity to offer had to dissolve. The book serves as a deconstruction of both a legendary career and a public persona. It isn't just a collection of road stories, it's a vulnerable examination of how Gordon navigated a male-dominated industry and a complex personal life while helping to steer one of the most influential bands in music history. Despite her status as a rock legend who exudes cool, with Girl in a Band, Gordon presents herself as very relatable. She spent her life facing insecurity, complex relationships, and heartbreak, just like all of us. But through this book, she shows how she's dealt with all of those things and come out stronger. Kim Gordon's autobiography is a behind-the-scenes look at a person whose life has been about so much more than being a girl in a band. Thanks for listening. Please rate, review, and subscribe so you can keep getting music book recommendations. And if you want your own copy of Girl in a Band or any other book, click the bookshop link in the show notes. When you do, you're supporting Loud Lit as well as independent booksellers. Until next time, keep reading, keep rocking.